Hello, kind, loving, cuddly friends. Larysa here, happiness archaeologist and heavenly nurture cuddle party. I want to talk about how to cuddle, but more than just what choreography do we use to cuddle. The other day, I had the opportunity to teach someone to cuddle who really, I guess, was new to it. The funny thing is, a friend of theirs, who's kind of like a new friend of mine, said, teach them to cuddle, knowing, once they found out I'm a certified cuddlist and in the training to be a cuddle party facilitator. So I don't know how much experience they've had, but it sounds like it's not their area of expertise. They're newer to it and less extensively well versed. So it was almost like we had a mini cuddle party, unofficial. Went over some of the rules, guidelines, boundaries of cuddle party and how things work. And a lot of it is communication, because especially with Cuddlist, we make an agreement that if anyone is uncomfortable with anything, we will speak up and let the other person know and adjust. The funny thing is, they described me as being like double black diamond level in cuddle knowledge and them being in the bunny slope. Now, I can understand why they would say they were on the bunny slope, but from my perspective, knowing many other much more experienced cuddlers, I don't feel like I'm double black diamond. I mean, sure, comparatively, and maybe in this conservative church community I call home, yeah, maybe compared to some people, I would be double black diamond experience. But I know I have so much more learning to do, and a lot of that learning comes from experience. The same cuddle choreography with a different person is going to feel different and have different experiences. One of the things that I noticed multiple times was like I was slipping, my head was slipping back, and it's not comfortable to like feel like you're holding your head up when you're in an embrace. So gravity is a consideration while cuddling. And the very same position that with one person might, you might be able to just rest and not have to hold your neck up, that very same position with a different person, with a different body, with a different couch or something, could have you slipping or being less comfortable. It could be as simple as one person has a big belly that, kind of holds you in place. Another person's very lean and you just kind of slide right down. So those are some considerations where it's not like just because you like a certain cuddle position, that means it's going to work the same with every person you cuddle with. Um, it can be very, you yourself can feel different when you're cuddling with a different person. And you could have a friend that's like, oh, you got to try this. It's a wonderful cuddle position. And maybe no matter who you try it with, it's not going to work for whatever reason, or it's just not going to feel cozy. But you can still try it because maybe you will find a person where it does work, or maybe it's the right couch, or maybe it's the right recliner or something like that. So communication is so crucial. And that's why with Cuddle Party, it's a communication workshop. So much of it is communication, learning to say no, learning to hear no, learning to ask for what you want and speak up. And that's another thing. There's a lot of overlap between Cuddlist and Cuddle Party. And speaking up means, hey, my neck hurts. Like, I really enjoy this cuddle and this is cozy, but because I'm slipping, my neck hurts. So can we readjust? Like, maybe we only need to move 3 inches so that my neck isn't slipping, but we can stay in this embrace. Or maybe we can try it 5 different ways and find out this choreography doesn't work. Or maybe you just need a pillow under the elbow and that'll fix everything. But you can try things until it works. Sometimes it's like scrunching around and adjusting. Same thing, like maybe you're leaning over and your back hurts. At Cuddle Party, it's not uncommon that you're so cozy, but you're well hydrated, so you have to go to the bathroom. But you don't want to give up the cozy, yummy feelings. Especially because at Cuddle Party, once you disconnect, you have to ask again to resume the way you're cuddling. Now you can say, hey, can we fully resume everything we were doing before? They might say yes, they might say no, but sometimes it can feel like if you get up to go to the bathroom, you might come back and ask them and they might say no, or they might be cuddling with someone else. You might feel like you've lost your yummy cuddles. And so sometimes you might just think, oh, I'd rather just be a little bit uncomfortable having to wait to go to the bathroom, because that's 30% uncomfortable, but 70% so cozy. And that's a choice you can make. But at the same time, we try not to tolerate discomfort. And the whole purpose is to get in touch with what's comfortable and follow our own inner guidance. And maybe your inner guidance deals with scarcity and says, I'd rather just stay in the cuddle because I don't want to give it up. Doing it with conscious awareness and intention, at least acknowledging, yep, I'm uncomfortable and I'm going to go to the bathroom soon, but for now I'm going to stay cuddling. I feel like this looks so weird on camera. I've got my knees under my shirt, but I'm kind of cuddling with myself, I guess. So speaking up when you're uncomfortable, and also discussing choreography ahead of time. One of the people in the cuddle world talks about remembering when nurturing touch was kind of removed from her, from maybe like a male figure in her life, saying like, oh, you're too old to sit on my lap, that kind of thing. And just feeling this rejection and being unlovable and or less lovable, or here I am getting older and growing up, and now I'm getting less of what I want. It makes me less able to access the nurturing touch that I wanted. And I too remember wanting to crawl up on my parents' laps and being told you're too big, like meaning you've gotten too old for this, slash, you're too tall, like you don't fit on our lap anymore the way you used to. And just feeling like the same thing about I used to love getting carried to bed and carried out of bed. And who doesn't like to be tucked in and read a bedtime story? It's funny how so many things we do for kids just stop being done for us as we get older. But who says we don't benefit from that? Who says we don't need those things anymore? Especially platonic nurturing touch, kindness, love, all these things that no wonder adults are stressed. Adulting is hard in its own, but it's much harder when we don't get all this love that we give to kids. And imagine, the feeling you get when you see a puppy and you want to pet it. Wouldn't the stress of adulting be a lot easier, more fun, if we could have a lot of the nurture that we got as kids? So let's say you're someone who wants to experience sitting on a lap like you did when you were a kid. Let's say you used to be thin and you're not as much anymore. Let's say because of whatever reason, you're worried that you're going to be too heavy or too big to sit in someone's lap. So you don't even ask. You don't even bring it up because you figure the answer must be no. But everyone has a different tolerance. Some people love a weighted blanket and they wish they could get a heavier weighted blanket. So you could be like a weighted blanket to them. A lot of the time on a couch, it's absorbing the weight. So it's not like they're sitting on a stone bench and all your weight is pushing on their lap. But at the same time, you want to know that if they're uncomfortable, they will speak up. You want to know that if their leg falls asleep because of the pressure, they will not sit there tolerating discomfort, but let you know, because maybe you really want to sit that way, but you don't want to be the source of discomfort or pain. And maybe you worry that if you do cut off their, if sitting on their lap cuts off their circulation to their legs, makes their legs fall asleep, that you're going to feel, oh gosh, I'm too big, I'm too old, too large for this, and I shouldn't have even asked in the first place. But if you agree and can trust each other that you will speak up if you're uncomfortable, then it allows you to have what you want, even if it's just for 5 or 10 minutes, and then you need to reposition because they've got to get the circulation back. We all lose circulation in our legs sometimes. Maybe sometimes we sit in the toilet too long, and that's what cuts off our circulation. So it's, it's not going to be the be all end all typically for most healthy people. But we have to know that we can trust the person to speak up if they're uncomfortable. That's why we make these agreements. And that's kind of the magic. We can get so much more of what we want when we ask for it and when we agree that we will speak up if something is uncomfortable or something changes. Maybe we tried it and it doesn't work the way we thought. So we try something else. If you can trust the person to say they're uncomfortable, then you can get more of what you want, because you don't have to worry anticipating, oh, I probably shouldn't even ask because it just won't work. You don't know until you ask. It reminds me of, I think it was my first cuddle party, where I was massaging someone while kind of like looking around the room, and it it wasn't like I got to the point where I was like, I've been doing this a while. This is kind of work. But so I kind of lightened up, like I wasn't using as much grip strength, and I was just kind of more lightly doing it, kind of like the way a cat needs a lap before they sit down. And I did find myself checking on myself, like, do I actually still want to be doing this? It is kind of work, and I probably would rather different kinds of cuddles, but I'm also getting to observe the room and soak in my first experience and see how I feel about this. And if my choice was to be doing this or nothing, yeah, then I would be choosing this. But it's also not like my ultimate, like, oh, I would love to be held or something else. So it's not my like, ultimate favorite, but I'm fine. I'm okay doing this right now. And what was so interesting is in closing circle, the person I was massaging said there came a time when he worried that I was no longer wanting to do this, and I was expending too much energy massaging, and worried that I wasn't wanting to be doing that, but was just doing it anyway, kind of like suffering. And then he remembered that we agree that we're going to speak up and we're going to do what we want to choose to do. And he kind of relaxed, knowing, yeah, if she doesn't want to, she'll let me know. We take care of ourselves. We take care of our own wants, desires, and discomfort, and speak up. It's not for him to have to predict and try to intuit what I might be thinking or feeling. And we do that a lot in life for so many reasons. We are trained culturally, and empathetic people tend to do it even more. And compassionate people are likely to try to anticipate the needs of others, which is beautiful. But we also need to sometimes trust that people can take care of themselves, that our whole job in life is not to put others before ourselves every moment of every day. So it was really interesting to kind of release that worry about caretaking others, knowing we can speak up for ourselves, and this is the environment to practice that. So it was really neat, because I wondered if he was thinking at the same time I was thinking, do I want to be doing this? This has been kind of a while. How do I feel about this? So there is a lot of magic to speaking up, and it takes a lot of practice for some of us. Some people have no problem putting their wants, needs, desires above everyone around them. And sometimes those people are narcissists or sociopath. And I say that clinically, not colloquially. And so some of the most compassionate, empathetic people might need more practice than the average person. And these are more reasons to practice cuddling in a safe environment like Cuddle Party, with rules and boundaries and a container established, and or practice with a cuddlist, where you make these agreements together. And if neither of those are an option, you can make these agreements with friends. It might take a little more practice, and you might stumble a few more times, but there are different ways to learn these things. So these are some thoughts that we learn from the world of cuddling. So as usual, thank you for tuning in. This is Larysa, Happiness Archaeologist and Heavenly Nurture Cuddle Party. Wishing you good safety, good health, and peace be with you.